Rassie, thank you so much for speaking to us today. How is the team doing first and foremost after that first win against West Indies?
Yeah, I think that was a big day for us. Obviously, with everything that transpired, we knew first and foremost that we had to get a result. We had to get the win. The West Indies always poses a massive threat in any T20 match, but especially in those circumstances where, having lost the first game, coming in against them, it was a big game for us. So yeah, just really proud of the team and how the guys stood up in those circumstances, and we again showed that what we can do as a team and on the field as cricketers. It's the same spirit that we sort of showed against Australia. Unfortunately, we couldn't get over the line there, but really proud of that performance given everything that was going on.
South Africa is known for its bounce-back ability. How do you make sure that it becomes a consistent thing within the team, particularly with the batting unit?
I think, because we sort of have that resilience as people and as characters in our team, or it comes through in the team. But I think for us, the learnings from that is we don't always have to resort to having to bounce back. So going forward into the tournament, I think the batters especially will put a lot of emphasis in putting the team in a strong position or chasing down scores, whatever we get to chase. So it's not always a case of we have to put ourselves under pressure first and then respond in the field or with the ball or whatever it might be. So we've been batting well the last 12 to 18 months. Our blueprints and our game plans have been really solid, and we've been good at executing them. And to an extent we did that a lot better against West Indies. We had a disappointing showing against Australia, but I mean, it happened. It's still cricket on the day, anything can happen, and you got to sort of give it the respect it deserves in that sense. So going forward, we'll look to be a lot more clinical.
Where do you think the team fell short in that match against Australia?
It's difficult to say well, it's easy to say where we fell short. It's difficult to say the reasons for that. We lost wickets up front, which you can't do, and then we lost wickets constantly throughout the middle. And when you lose wickets, it's tough on these wickets for a new guy coming in. You do take a bit of time to get used to the conditions and the pace of the wicket, and so it's easy to say that. Why it happened, not sure. We just lost a few wickets early, whether it be a bit unlucky in terms of Quinton's case, or sometimes myself or Timber. You don't know why it happens. It does just happen. So, but yeah, I think runs on the board in that match was always going to be vital. We didn't get enough. We sort of went out with thinking we need to get 60, and probably in hindsight 140 would have been enough.
Having had 2 matches now that you've experienced, and going to play in another new venue, do you feel pressure at all the changes of venues, or do you feel as though the team has done enough to be well prepared to face whatever may come?
No, I think our coaching staff and the analysis that goes into that gives us a fairly good idea of what to expect and what will work well in those conditions. We've seen our few games at those venues, so we know more or less what to expect. It's more about going out on the day and making sure that you adapt your game plan if needed in those conditions. But we've had a few games now. We've had 2 warm-up games and 2 matches, and the wickets played quite similarly. So I think the guys have had time to process that, and going into the next match, Sharjah against Sri Lanka, it'll be a venue that probably suits them better than it suits us. But like we've seen in the last year, we've really improved and shown what we can do in conditions that are foreign to what we're used to. So we'll definitely draw on that.
South Africa has done exceptionally well in foreign conditions. Are you guys coming in a bit more confident, knowing that you've got that ability to go where you're not used to, and that the batsmen are batting pretty well against spin?
I think so, definitely. I think a lot of credit must go to our coaching staff, and I mean, this isn't a journey that we started a few weeks or a month ago. This is something that we started more than a year ago, and knowing what we're going to come up against. And a lot of emphasis has been on upskilling, especially in conditions that we didn't grow up in. And I think also credit must go to the batters. I think if you look at the stats and the way we've approached spin and playing on wickets like these, we've improved a lot in the last 12 to 18 months, and we are confident. We know now that we firstly have the skill, we have a bit of experience in doing that in the last 12 months, and we've won matches like that. So definitely we're confident going into that. Yeah.
Are you relatively surprised at the low scoring nature of some of the matches that have been played?
Not really. I mean, World Cup cricket is a high pressure cricket. It's the most pressure you're going to face as a player in your life, and sometimes that plays into your mindset and your game plan. I think that's what's happening. The enormity of the occasion almost makes teams bat a little bit more within themselves because the result is so important. Especially every game you're coming up against a quality team, so you want to make sure that you firstly give yourself a chance to win the match, and then when you've worked hard to get into that position, like we saw now against West Indies, then you make sure you follow through and be clinical. And I think that's the blueprint most teams will probably look for. But for me as a player, and probably us as a batting team, you have to take responsibility and make sure at the end of the day, if it's your day to win the match for the team, you don't leave it to anyone else.
You guys are playing against Sri Lanka, as you've mentioned. Do you think that the tour that the team recently had to Sri Lanka was relatively good enough homework for you guys to come out successfully?
Yeah, definitely helps, especially having played them in their conditions. The guys have faced their bowlers and sort of know what we're going to come up against, what they're about as a team. I think both teams are fairly similar teams, and yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's a World Cup, it's T20 cricket. Firstly, anything can happen. It's a World Cup match, so we'll definitely have to rock up on the day and really be at our best. And I'm confident that if we do that, then we'll come out on the right side.
What can fans expect from Team South Africa?
I think they can expect, firstly, a lot of pride, a lot of heart. The enormity of the occasion doesn't escape us. I think as a team, we really want to play to our full potential, firstly, and make people proud and win matches, because we feel we can do that, and secondly, we want to do that. And I think, like we showed in the first game, we had a bad first half of the game, but that never caused us to throw in the towel. We really left everything on that field, and sometimes it's not enough. Australia was probably just a bit better than us on that day, but it was very nearly enough, and actually halfway in that game we had no right to win that game, and we almost beat them. So I think that's a lot of credit has to go to everyone involved in our squad, because I think it shows our tenacity, it shows where our minds are at and what we want to achieve as a team, and hopefully going forward we can showcase that and it'll come through as well.
And then in the last match, beating a powerhouse West Indian team, the defending champions, that also goes a long way in the team's confidence?
Definitely. I mean, the West Indies with all their names and T20 specialists that they come with, they're always a massive threat. We saw when we played them in the West Indies, on the day that they get it right, I mean, it's almost impossible to beat them. So the key against them is to really make sure you stay out of their areas that they're good at, and then secondly, sort of capitalize on your strengths. And we did that perfectly with the ball, restricting them to 143. I think it was an unreal effort by the bowlers, and then we just let it to be clinical with the bat. And I think that was almost an all-round performance. It showed where we at, beating them by 8 wickets. By the end, I mean, it looked pretty comfortable. It was a tough battle throughout, but I think it shows the quality of our team now.
And also after that chaotic start.
Yeah, the start obviously wasn't ideal on the day, but we've learned, especially as South Africans, that sometimes things get thrown your way and cards get dealt, and you've got to move on and you've got to focus on the job at hand, and we certainly we weren't going to take it as an excuse or anything. We knew maybe this makes the result even more important, so we really had to dig deep and fire on everything that we had. And yeah, like I said earlier, it was proud to see how the guys responded, and yeah.
How remorseful is Quinny, and how has the team responded to everything that has happened and to his apology?
I think, yeah, Quinny is extremely remorseful, but I can say that in a positive way. I think a characteristic of our team is that even though he took that decision, everyone understood why he took that decision, and we always supported him, even though the timing might not have been great and of the whole day and everything, and it was a bit chaotic in that build-up to the match. But we all understood and we all supported him, and I think that speaks volumes about where we are as a team and as a squad and as a management, where you know we don't judge, we accept and we expect everyone to think for themselves and make their own decision, and we respect that. So yeah, I mean, the team is always an open environment to anyone who's a member, and I mean, he didn't even have to explain to himself to us really, because we sort of accept everyone as they are and as they come, and we've come a long way in that, and our team is a safe space for the guys in it. So again, that's something that I think myself and we're really proud of.
He's asked in a statement that if the team would have him, that he would love to play cricket for South Africa again. Would the team like to have him?
And he's one of the best players in the world. Of course, I mean, he can. I think the team will welcome him back with open arms. It's not even a case of him having to ask us. I mean, like I said, we understood why he did what he did, and I mean, that's the end of the story. If he's selected, which I'm sure he will be, I mean, he'll come back and it'll be like nothing ever happened, because nobody holds any grievances against him. Nobody. I think he'll just come back, and it will be hopefully like it will be like it always was, and hopefully he can be in the right frame of mind and deliver the match-winning performances like he's done for so many years, which is so valuable to us as a team. But even more important is having Quinny on the field and having our brother and our friend and our world-class player back on the field for the team.
And finally, your objectives for the final match, the next match against Sri Lanka?
Yeah, I think the key going forward for us is trying to channel that energy and that spirit that we have in the team again, and channel it into performances like we did in the previous match. And if, like I said earlier, if we get close to that and we execute what we know on a personal level we can do, and as a team, then I'm really confident that we'll come out on the winning side. Sri Lanka, obviously, they're a dangerous team in conditions like that suit them, that they know well. You've got to give the respect to a team like that, and they've been playing well. So it's every game is a massive game.